Okay, this is the DJI Osmo Action. I always love the idea of showing HDR and non-HDR on a YouTube video that's not HDR. Yeah, it's funny how I'm not a breakdancer, I'm not a skier, I'm not a tightrope walker, but I still want a camera like this. This week on Indy News, DJI releases their new Osmo Action camera, which is clearly designed to compete with GoPro. Next, could your Vimeo subscription suddenly be more valuable? Is Vimeo stock one of the cheapest stock video libraries available? And finally, that camera you are thinking of buying, you may want to act fast, as prices may be on the rise. Before we jump in, this video is brought to you by Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Hey Indy Mogulers, Griffin here. Today we begin with an exciting new product from DJI. DJI has officially unveiled their new Action camera. You know DJI, of course, from their drones and their popular stabilizers like the Ronin S and Osmo. But this new Osmo Action camera is clearly taking aim at the GoPro Hero 7 Black. It's a little action camera that can shoot 4K 60 in H.264 or MOV up to 100 megabits per second. And it has a little LCD on the front, which really differentiates it from the GoPro, one that you can actually see what you're shooting. Like the GoPro, it also shoots to a micro SD card, but it's not shooting in bit rates as high as the Hero 7 can go, which may or may not be a problem for you. For me, 100 megabits per second is probably all I need from an action camera. On the flip side, it does offer a superior D-Cine-like mode, which is able to capture a wider dynamic range and distribute colors more evenly, so dark areas of the frame end up looking better than in D-Log on the GoPro. They've also added what they refer to as rock steady, or in layman's terms, EIS, electronic image stabilization. Of course, DJI has years of experience with stabilization in their drones, so naturally you'd expect it to be pretty good. One downside of this rock steady feature is that it doesn't work in every video mode. For example, you can't shoot HDR and use rock steady at the same time. It's clear that DJI really thought about how to make this camera work well for filmmakers. First, it has a 1.4-inch screen on the front with a resolution of 320 by 320. That immediately makes it a more compelling option for vloggers, adding a real convenience factor for recording yourself. They've also included a couple handy features to make your life as a filmmaker easier. Snapshot allows you to begin recording within 2 seconds, no matter where you are in the camera's menus, for those fleeting moments when you need to capture the moment as soon as possible. A quick switch button lets you cycle through the camera's various modes without needing to go into a menu to do so. And finally, a custom mode allows one to save their favorite camera settings so it can be accessed quickly. When it comes to hardware, the Osmo Action has a lot of the modern features you'd expect, like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, USB-C, a removable battery. They say that the battery will work for 135 minutes when you're in 1080 mode and you have stabilization turned off. Of course, you probably will be shooting 4K with stabilization on, so your mileage may vary. And like a GoPro, it can be submerged underwater without a case, up to 11 meters for the DJI Osmo, which is actually 1 meter more than the GoPro. You might look at this and say that GoPro could be in a tough spot. Recently, they've come out with some products to try to diversify their offerings, like the GoPro Karma, a drone, the GoPro Fusion, their 360 camera, and neither of these really caught on. And now DJI is coming in and going right after the heart of what everyone loves about GoPro. This new DJI camera costs $349 US and was released last week on May 17th. That's compared to $399 for the GoPro Hero 7 Black. In addition to that $50 price improvement, DJI also has a trade-in program, this recycling program, where I looked it up. I can actually send in my GoPro Hero 3, this is the last GoPro I actually bought, the one that still has the case. I can send this in to DJI and they will give me $20. Plus, right now they're doing a deal where they'll give you an additional 10 to 20% on top of that. So they'll actually give me $24 for my GoPro that I could put towards a new DJI Osmo Action. For more information, you could check out DJI's website. Last year, Vimeo, the video sharing website, launched Vimeo Stock, which is like a lot of stock video libraries. You pay a license fee, you get to download a clip to use in your projects. In that time, Vimeo has added over 1 million clips to their library, so it looks like they're taking this pretty seriously. Beginning this month, Vimeo has done something pretty interesting with their library. They're making 1,000 video clips free for already paying Vimeo customers. That includes me. Those that pay a Vimeo membership fee for like Vimeo Plus or Vimeo Pro now have access to over 1,000 free clips, which Vimeo says they value at over $60,000. That kind of makes sense. If you charge $60 per stock video clip, then yeah, this is a $60,000 benefit. Now, if this is your only stock video library you're using, 1,000 clips is not actually that much. You'll find there's a bunch of things you can't find that you need. But when you compare it to other libraries like Storyblocks and Pond5 that have a ton, they're charging a lot more than the base rate here. If you are a Vimeo Plus subscriber, you're only paying $7 a month and you have access to all these free clips. I'm a Vimeo Pro subscriber paying $20 a month because I use their on-demand features. So this is something I already have access to. Vimeo believes this collection of free clips is pretty diverse. They say it's a highly curated, innovative, and royalty-free set of videos. So I went to download a clip, and yes, you can get free 4K footage. It comes in ProRes, so it's like a 6 gigabyte download. And I was really curious, what happens if you are a paying Vimeo subscriber, you download clips, and then you stop being a paid Vimeo subscriber? Looking at the terms of the license, it doesn't sound like you lose your perpetual license. It's a perpetual worldwide license to use these clips. So I imagine if you want to join Vimeo, download a bunch of clips, you're in your right to do that. One thing to note though, just you should read through the license for how you can and can't use these clips. One example is you can't use these clips to promote tobacco products. So if you're making cigarette or vaping commercials, you can't use this footage. You also can't use this footage to promote a political candidate. So before you start making some political ads for the 2020 election, don't use Vimeo stock for that. Our final story today, if you are in the market for a camera right now, you've been looking at the camera you want to buy, right now might be the time to jump on this because of this trade war between the US and China. This could cause the price of the camera you want to buy to go up. You may already know that the US had imposed a tariff of 10% on many Chinese goods coming into the country. This means that American manufacturers, when they receive these goods from China, they have to pay a 10% tariff to the US government, and that price can get offloaded onto the customer. Now the Trump administration is imposing a 25% tariff on incoming Chinese goods, and it includes a bunch of categories that affect the filmmaking industry. We're beginning to see this with companies like Flanders Scientific. They make broadcast equipment, including monitors, and they recently sent out this message to their customers. While we will make every effort to provide additional details on the amount and specific timing of price increases ahead of time, this may be difficult depending on timing and nature of tariff increases. What they're saying is they don't know what the future holds for tariffs, and they don't know how this will affect their prices. So there may be a delay in how this affects you. Right now, there is a tariff in place on incoming Chinese goods, and it's just a matter of how long are these American companies willing to keep their prices down until they eventually decide they have to pass it on to you. So some of the categories of products that will affect indie filmmakers that are going from 10% tariffs up to 25% include video recording devices, sound recording devices, monitors, lamps, cameras. Lenses are one thing that are not on the list yet, but this is an ever-changing battle back and forth between China and the US, so who knows what'll happen. The tariffs could go up even more. More products could be included, or they drop this whole thing and you're fine. This could just be the latest data point in a trend of filmmaking equipment becoming more expensive for you. Because of course last year the Supreme Court ruled that online retailers like B&H have to collect your state sales tax. Maybe you live in a state that doesn't have sales tax, but if you live in New York, where the sales tax is 8.875%, an online retailer will collect that tax when I buy from them. Of course, a few years ago, you could just go online and buy something, and if it was from out of state, then you wouldn't pay the tax at all. But now these retailers have to collect that tax. Online retailer B&H just came up with a method that they say pays you back for that sales tax that they have to collect now. They have a new credit card called Payboo, and it essentially gives you cash back in the same amount as the sales tax that you are paying them. So for example, in New York, where I pay 8.875% sales tax to B&H, they will give me an 8.875% discount off my purchase. And it's apparently immediately applied. So I actually applied for this credit card. It does have some drawbacks. It has a 29.99% APR, so really high APR. You don't want to leave a balance on this card, but if you're willing to pay it off every month, it's not a bad deal. The other weird thing about it is it's not truly a real universal credit card. It only works at B&H. So a couple things to consider. If you want to buy a camera, a monitor in the near future, you may want to do it right now before prices go up, and maybe you want to do something like this cashback credit card that B&H has if you want to avoid sales tax. Again, we want to thank our friends over at Squarespace for helping bring this video to you. With their award-winning 24/7 customer service and the ability to transfer our domain into Squarespace, making a website doesn't have to be scary. You can take it from us. Their beautiful templates made it easy to drag and drop everything you see on indymogul.com right now. So head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to purchase, go to squarespace.com/indymogul for 10% off your purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Indie News, and let us know in the comments what you think about these stories, and if there's anything you really want to see us cover in the next episode. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to keep up with the world of indie filmmaking, and we'll see you next time.